Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Johnson, and I'm a teacher well-being coach with Tuned In Teachers. I created a guide today because we are under a lot of stress thinking about school and the what ifs of school. What if we go back to school face to face with kids? What if I am a virtual teacher when we go back to school? What happens if someone I care about gets sick with COVID-19? There's a lot of different questions about school and how we're going to cope. And so I want to put together this guide on how to cope with this unknown because it's stressing all of us out. Um, some people may be stressing to the point where their anxiety has increased dramatically and they might be having panic attacks or experiencing other signs of anxiety. Others they could feel so debilitated that it leads to a deep depression. And for others, we may be choosing to cope in negative ways, like drinking too much alcohol, eating too much junk food, um, perhaps even shopping a little too much and just calling it back to school shopping. And so I thought I'd put together a guide to help us be okay with the unknown for these next few weeks. So I put together 6 strategies in this guide. And my goal is that you may find some or all, or maybe even just 2 that appeal to you that you think you can try and that will help you to feel more grounded as we move forward these next few weeks before school begins. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you my screen. I just have a few of these strategies listed on the screen for you. So the first one is creating a flexible plan for your day. So we know that you can't control what you can't control, right? So you want to start with what you have control over, create goals for yourself, and then create the circumstances for yourself to meet those goals. So what I'm talking about is something small where you are thinking about yourself as a bubble and the impact that you have in your own little bubble. That's where you want to start. Um, Create a flexible plan for your day that is a guide, not expecting perfection or that everything will go the way that you want it to go, but being flexible. Um, in fact, I read an article about 3 weeks ago, I think in the New York Times, and it was about the Pomodoro technique. And I'll share the link underneath this video, but it's about completing tasks or working on tasks for 25 minutes and then taking a 5-minute break and then working on another task for 25 minutes and then a 5-minute break. And you just repeat this for yourself during the day. And people have found that by following this technique, they're able to accomplish a lot more in their day because the time is ticking and they have that 25-minute chunk to get things done, and they find themselves to be a lot more productive during that time. So that's just an idea of a way that you could set up your day. I would love to try it myself, actually, to see if you can focus more on the things that you want to accomplish in your day instead of getting sucked into what's happening outside of your world. And that actually connects well with my second strategy, which is shutting down the news junkie in yourself. The news just stresses us out. There's so much news on, we don't know what to believe. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be an informed citizen. I definitely think there's a time and place for that. But there is such a thing as information overload, and you don't want all that information to be taking over your day. Some warning signs might be that you're asking your family and friends if they think you're doing the right thing. You know, looking for maybe justification for what you think is the right choice. We really have to let go of perfectionism right now. It is not our target. We cannot expect perfection of ourselves or anyone else. So I hope that you are not trying to become the perfect remote teacher right now, not trying to be the perfect Bitmoji classroom creator or the most adaptable person on the planet. Right now, we are all human and we need to give ourselves some grace. Trust in yourself that you have been professionally trained as an educator. And when you need to make decisions for yourself or your family, you will know what to do because you know you have the best interests of kids in your care. You know what's best for you and your family. So make sure that you're talking to yourself in a loving way, saying things like, it's okay to not know what to do. We are in uncertain times. I trust that I will make the best decision when the time comes to decide. So please be kind to yourself when you're talking to yourself. The next strategy is to scan your thoughts. If you haven't already caught yourself, a lot of times we start thinking about things that aren't in our control, and that can lead to fear because our limbic system gets sent into overdrive when we're talking about and we're thinking about those things that are outside of our control. So it's really important that you recognize within yourself, oh, this is an irrational thought. I'm going down a path of things that haven't happened yet, that I'm catastrophizing. Know that this is a primitive reaction. It's like running away from a tiger, but the fears are still irrational, especially if you're projecting what you think could happen, and that's a negative thing. But actually, along with that, there is some benefit to thinking negatively. So this is my next strategy, is to engage in defensive pessimism. It sounds awful, right, by just the name, but it's a cognitive strategy that was coined by Nancy Cantor, and it's imagining the worst and planning for it. So, but here's the difference. The difference is you find yourself thinking about the worst thing that could happen, but you ask yourself, okay, with this situation, what's the worst thing that could happen? And answer that. And then ask yourself, can I do anything to change the situation I'm experiencing? And answer that question. If you can't do anything to change the situation, give yourself some grace. If you can do something to change the situation, then by all means, make a plan to take action. But the fact of the matter is, you don't want to spend hours over analyzing all these different situations or catastrophizing all these situations. But if you put pen to paper and actually answer the question for yourself, okay, what's the worst thing? What can I do about it? If you can't do anything, then you got to be able to let that go and realize, okay, these are irrational thoughts. I can't do anything about it. I need to set this aside. And then you bring yourself back to the present moment, which leads us to the next strategy, which is to focus on your breath. I know we've heard this 1,000 times, but it's really powerful because it impacts our parasympathetic nervous system, which puts your body in a state of rest. The 4-7-8 breath was developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, and like I mentioned, it puts your body in a state of rest. So how you do this 4-7-8 breath is you're sitting with your back straight, put your tongue against the tissue just behind the top front teeth, and hold it there during this exercise. Close your mouth and breathe in through your nose to a count of 4. hold your breath to a count of 7, then exhale out through your mouth to a count of 8. And that's considered one cycle. And you'll want to do this 3 more times. Now, it might seem difficult at first if you're not used to holding your breath for that long or exhaling for that long. But over time, your body does get used to it, and you will notice that your entire body becomes more in that, or leads to that state of rest, becomes much more relaxed. And lastly, the last strategy I want to share with you today is about meditating. And again, this is another one that some people kind of roll their eyes like they've heard it a million times, but they don't really practice it. But really, meditation, it's amazing. It reduces inflammation caused by stress. It can reverse patterns in the brain that lead to worrying and short attention spans. It can improve sleep and decrease blood pressure, all of that good stuff. So, oops, I gotta show myself. There we go. So with meditation, what I really like is not necessarily the meditation where you're sitting in silence and listening to yourself and all of your thoughts. Meditation that I've found to be most effective is guided meditation. And actually, there's an app on my phone. It's called Breathe. And there is an app on there called Falling Asleep. And I love it. This is a guided meditation. Jamie is the one who guides it. And she has us visualize our bodies being filled with radiant light. And it's a beautiful imagery, especially for nighttime. But those kinds of things help us to get out of our own heads. And when we're following what someone is guiding us to think about and imagine in our minds, we're giving ourselves that break that we need, the break from that monkey mind that's constantly spinning. So I hope that these 6 strategies have been helpful for you. And like I said, pick just, I hope, even 1 or 2 that you want to try. It will really help to anchor you during this time of unknown, especially if you can pick one that has to do with your thinking and thoughts, and really being kind to yourself with your thoughts. And another one that really helps your body. So either the deep breathing or meditation, I would encourage you to try. If you are someone who is really wanting to explore a deeper relationship with yourself, and wanting to improve your overall well-being, I encourage you to check out our Tuned In Teachers community. I'll put the link below this video. It's community.tunedinteachers.com, and there is a 4-step path to well-being that you can take at your own pace, and will really help with that. So I appreciate you checking out these strategies and this guide today, and I wish you the best school year you can have under the circumstances. My hope for you is that you can start this school year grounded and trusting in yourself. So take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.